Weekends in our family always call for fast food, and while I am a great fan of them, I'm also one to ensure that the right flavors, the right quality goes into creating them, and that's why I often create different styles at home. This weekend calls for burgers created simply with loads of flavor and getting flavors and scents that are very, very close to home. Walk with me through this entire journey because I've got hacks dime a dozen in this entire video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit on the bell icon for many more of these. Keeping my flavor profile of my burger patty very close to home, into a pan goes in nearly a tablespoon of black peppercorns along with a teaspoon of cumin seeds, a heaped tablespoon of fennel seeds, about 1-inch piece of cinnamon and 8 cloves. And this flavor is the sharp pronounced essence of Goa going right into my burger. Now while this has lightly toasted and you hear the sweet cling and crackle of the spices, we're just going to cool this down and blitz it to a fine powder. Creating this requires a little bit of multitasking. So into a cast iron, I'm just going to use 10 mils of regular cooking oil along with a 25-gram slab of butter. Allow this to melt. Now this is totally optional. While I'm cooking all my ingredients out here that goes into the tenderloin mince forming the patty, you can put it raw, but I love the sweetness that comes about it. So about a tablespoon of chopped ginger, a tablespoon of chopped garlic going in just to infuse with the butter and the olive oil. Just allow it to nicely sweat and sizzle. Along with, I've taken nearly 8 chipotle chilies, finely minced them, and I'm adding that into this as well. We just want the red specks and the minimum heat scenting this creation. Staining, sweating and flavoring your entire kitchen. Into this goes 3 red onions finely chopped, and we're just going to saute this, cool it down and add it into creating that highly flavorful yet close to home burger patty mince. While this has softened and sauteed really well, all you need to do now is another food hack where you take off a little bit of this. So I'm creating 4 burgers, so about 3 tablespoons to 4 tablespoons, and this nestles on the base of your burger bun while the rest goes into the patty. Creating the burger patty is really very simple once you finish that major hurdle. So out here I've got nearly 500 grams of mince, that's tenderloin mince. You can use lamb mince, mutton mince or even chicken mince and create the same. So while that goes into a bowl, I like it super fine. My butcher has a task ahead of me always when I approach him. Season it with some sea salt, not too much, just mildly spiced. And into that goes that gorgeous spice blend that we created and powdered. So add that into this mix, bursting with flavor. Into this goes the onion, ginger, garlic and chipotle mix. Just allow it all to mix together really well and fast. While I did ditch the ladle for going old-fashioned just to feel everything and ensure it's well mixed and emulsified, ensure that the onion spice blend is perfectly mixed in so that you have that sweetness through and through. And finally into that goes 2 whole eggs. Just blend it well together. Quite a slushy experience, but lovely. And finally, another hack. While it's recommended to use fresh breadcrumbs, I just take 2 loaves of bread, dip it into some water, squeeze it out, and add that in. That retains the moisture, and this is a great food hack when you're creating this, because you want your burger patty to be juicy and moist, and you do not want it to be dry. Squish everything together while you're playing in it, very close to taking you back to your childhood and playing in sand. So with the bread well emulsified into the entire mix, now is the time to style this up and elevate it to the next level with some freshly chopped parsley and cilantro. So nearly 4 tablespoons of parsley along with cilantro going into the mix, and herbs always elevate a burger patty to the next level. So mix it well, ensure that it's perfectly dispersed within, and set it on the side. Allow the flavors to subtly marry into each other when it's ready to be grilled. With that heavily spiced burger patty mix resting on the side, it's time to create the add-ons and the accompaniments to style a burger. And what's a burger without either fries or potato wedges? But like I said, I'm going very, very close to home, and this is my treat to the family for all the chores done during the lockdown. So out here I've got Vindaloo paste, and this recipe is available in my pork Vindaloo video, so do find it. I always have a stash of this lying around in my fridge. So about 4 tablespoons of that going into a bowl. Heavily season it with some sea salt. You need to thin this down, so you thin it down with some extra virgin olive oil just to create a perfect slurry. So nearly 30 mils of extra virgin olive oil, and whisk it away. Whisk it till it forms that perfect slurry, and then all you need to do is take a kg of russet potato wedges that I've cut, just toss them in and toss the entire thing together. Toss this, and the best way to know that you're on the right track is when you see these potatoes staining with that deep, deep burgundy red color. So allow it to stain well. I'm trying not to create a splash and panic in the kitchen, so go as liberal as you can. And while it turns that gorgeous red color, all you need to do is give it a fine sprinkle of some cilantro. So nearly 2 tablespoons of cilantro, and toss it back away. Be warned, these wedges are addictive, so always create a large batch because the family is definitely going to be begging for more. Into a preheated oven, these go at 180 degrees Celsius for just about 40 minutes till they have that glorious crunch but highly, highly enhanced flavor. I've created so many different versions of a coleslaw that I hardly ever create the authentic anymore. So into a large bowl goes in a teaspoonful of stone ground mustard. Use any variant that's readily available. Into that goes the juice of 2 limes along with some extra virgin olive oil just to create the first dressing. So whisk this in, nearly 30 mils of extra virgin olive oil. And the reason for this is the cabbage stays nice and firm and doesn't get soggy and glucky. So create this first dressing, whisk it perfectly, and toss in the cabbage, but with a surprise. Season with some sea salt. And finally, in goes a medium-sized cabbage, finely shredded. So put that in and give it a quick tossing so that the dressing perfectly coats the cabbage. Once you've done this, now comes about adding a fun element to it. And like I said, I've never ever created an authentic coleslaw over the years now. So while this is perfectly tossed, out here I've got baby raw mangoes that were put into brine. typically known as a water pickle. I've just shredded them and put that in. So 3 mangoes shredded perfectly well. And we're going to toss that into this entire cabbage mix. And finally in goes some mayonnaise. And I never bother making mayonnaise at home. Always use a store-bought variant. So 4 tablespoons of that going in. And you just toss the entire thing together. What a quirky take on a coleslaw. While you can do this on a barbecue charcoal grill, I'm just using a lovely long cast iron griddle plate to create the same result. So sear some extra virgin rosemary scented olive oil on it. Allow it to smoke up. It's perfectly okay if it smokes up, and any oil that dribbles on the side is perfect to slather on top. Now take your burger buns, toast it in the far end corner so that it toasts while your burger sizzles on the other side. Hotter the cast iron griddle, more even the cooking, and you get that perfect smoky burger feel. But I want them to be uniform size, so I've taken a ring mold and I'm just going to take roughly 100 grams and slather that in, smash it down, allow it to form and get to creating piece number 2. So I'm creating those humongous whopper burgers out here. Go and use things that suit your fancy. Four minutes of cooking them on each side. It's time to flip this. And based on what you like your toastness of bread, take them out accordingly. While this is done, all you need to do now is slather some sliced cheese on top of each and allow them to grill. Let the cheese just blanket over the entire creation. Burgers follow the old-fashioned principle of a green leaf lettuce, some onions and some sliced tomatoes on top. But that spice blend that we created sits right on top just to give you that burst of heat and, more importantly, oodles of flavor. With that done, all you need to do now is gently lift your patty up and nestle it on top. The trick what I often use is I take a ring mold that's slightly bigger than my burger bun because shrinkage gives it that perfect size. Burgers ready on one side and my Vindaloo spiced potato wedges perfectly ready on the other. What a meal about to be enjoyed. Sunday brunch, or rather a weekend meal, fast food made easy with flavors very, very close to home. The beauty about creating this is you can use spice blends that suit your fancy, but at the same time ensure that you have a decadent meal to enjoy. Don't forget to share loads of love by hitting on the like button. Stay safe, stay blessed, and more importantly, don't forget to subscribe.